Nosgoth has been cancelled, Dirty Bomb receives its biggest update yet. All that and more, I'm Zach Sharps and this is Free to Play Weekly. To kick off the news this week, a game that I thought had already launched apparently was just in a pretty long open beta. The game I'm talking about, of course, is Counterplay Games' tactical CCG free-to-play title Duelyst, and it's officially launching April 27th. If you've never played Duelyst before, it mixes card game elements within board game style gameplay. Summon your card on the board and tactically maneuver it for maximum effectiveness, or a fatal combo to win the game. I found the game quite enjoyable, and I still play it from time to time. Hell, I have a fairly good deck, and I didn't even have to spend a dime or spend an ungodly amount of time to be competitive. Been a while since I could say that about a CCG. Have you guys played Duelyst before? What do you guys think? Perfect World Entertainment's long-running free-to-play MMORPG, Perfect World International, will be receiving a brand new expansion very soon. In fact, it's coming on April 13th alongside a Steam launch. The 12th expansion to the game will bring forth the Homestead system, which is basically a housing system, a new 10-player max-level instance, weekly cross-server PvP tournaments, upgraded weapons, gear, fashion mounts, and more. Overall, it's pretty cool to see Perfect World International keep chugging along, and I know you guys have a lot of gripes with it, and so do I. But with a lot of free-to-play titles biting the dust lately, it's nice to see one still standing 12 expansions and 10 years later. Speaking of game cancellations, after last week when I said please no more game cancellations, Square Enix's free-to-play Legacy of Kain inspired humans vs. Vampire Slugfest title Nosgoth will be shutting down at the end of the month. Yes, Square Enix has made the decision to axe the title and officially shut it down on May 31st. For those of you guys hoping that this may mean that a Legacy of Kain title is a possibility, Square Enix stated the following: any future Legacy of Kain project will be considered independently of Nosgoth and on the merits of the proposal alone, end quote. As for why the game is shutting down, well, it ultimately came down to its audience not growing enough to sustain ongoing operations. And as much as I enjoyed Nosgoth, it honestly dropped off my radar after a few weeks playing the game. Its novelty wore off quite a bit, and unfortunately the game just didn't have enough depth to keep me playing for long. Speaking of games keeping me playing for a while, a very interesting report came out this week from Slice Intelligence analyzing how much money players spend on free-to-play titles. More specifically, the study shows for those who actually open their wallets, on average how much they usually will spend on free-to-play titles throughout an entire year. They concluded that on average, players that do open their wallets at least once spend $91 per year on PC and console free-to-play games. This average happens to be a bit more than the $86 spent by mobile gamers per year. Slice also found that 28% of free-to-play PC and console gamers account for 90% of a game's income as opposed to 10% of mobile gamers. These numbers don't really surprise me that much, to be honest, but it does beg a question, so it's time for the question of the week. Last week on the show, I asked you guys about Windows 10 and more importantly, if you even have it installed. A user by the name of Burn It Up Again stated the following: I do have Windows 10 installed and I do like the functionality of it, but the multiple problems that keep coming up with it are disheartening enough to make me want to run back to Windows 7, begging for it to take me back. Thanks for your guys' responses, and I certainly agree from my Mac Pro's point of view. Bootcamp just didn't really appreciate Windows 10 much, but on my actual gaming PC, it's been flawless. Pretty much sums up Windows 10 though, works great for some, doesn't work at all for others, but still has privacy concerns for everybody. However, I digress. If you guys want your comment possibly featured in next week's show, make sure to leave a comment down below. This week's question is, what is the most money you've spent on a free-to-play game? Personally, the most I've spent was $80 on League of Legends, and considering I got far over 80 hours of gameplay out of that game, I'm pretty satisfied with the amount I spent, despite nearly vomiting at the sight of the game now. It's not a bad game, don't get me wrong, just personally, I'm sick of it after how much I played of it. Curious which one of you dropped the big bucks and which game prompted you to do it. Last up in the news this week, Splash Damage announced today that players can now experience what they are calling the biggest update so far for their free-to-play online shooter, Dirty Bomb. The update, titled Rogue in Vogue, went live this week and features a brand new merc named Amy, among other things. Amy specializes in debilitating her enemies, then sniping them down swiftly. In order to welcome her into the game, Splash Damage is putting on a 5-week event where you and the community determine the culprit that ruined Amy's short-lived stint in the fashion world. Exclusive trinkets and loadouts will be available to buy using a brand new currency just for this event, plus new badges have also been added along with Steam achievements, full team queue and ranked play, increased credit bonus for ranked play, and a brand new audio reverb system to enhance immersion. Gotta love that immersion. Overall, it seems like a pretty sizable update for sure, and it's certainly a welcome addition. You know, it is also a welcome addition, giveaways, of course. I'll always bring this full circle, guys. I'll never break the cycle. As always, be sure to head on over to our giveaways page, bookmark it, and check it daily to ensure you never miss one. As for myself, be sure to tweet at my face at Zach Sharps, and as always, signing out until next week, I'm Zach Sharps, and I'll catch you guys next time.